It's a very creepy episode of Agents of Non-Pro. Welcome, everyone! Woo!
Woo!
Yes. We're a few days late. For those of you who time these things, please don't kill us. Good evening, Internet! You're watching the Non-Pro TV Party Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show. I'm your host, Frank, joined not at all in studio by everyone, basically. I'm not even in the studio. James and Matt, how are you guys doing?
Hello. Doing all right.
Right. James?
I'm good. I'm all marble hyped after this weekend.
What happened this weekend?
Some movie came out.
Did you see the movie?
I did.
So we're talking about Age of Ultron. Full spoilers, all episode long.
No.
Matt has not seen it yet, so we will not be spoiling it at all. We are, in fact, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show this week. On Non-Pro's TV Party, we do a live Google Plus Hangout series where we geek out about our favorite television shows. Namely, in this episode, I think, 19 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I believe the episode is called, oh, God, what is it? Oh, it's in the description. Oh, yes, The Dirty Half Dozen. Good name. I like it a lot. And in this episode, we get the gang back together. It's so sweet. We got the entire cast back from Season 1. And let me just start off by saying that I did not notice they were doing that. Like, it took me until I heard the episode title and then, like, looked at what was going on. I'm like, oh my God, it's the original cast, which is great. Because if they had just sort of, like, if you had asked me, like, 6 months ago, how would they ever be able to do this, I'd be like, probably not. Not in a way that would work. Some characters would have nothing to say with others. It wouldn't work out right. They did a very good job of it. I was pretty happy with this episode. What about you guys?
I loved it. I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. has just been so strong this season, and it's all been kind of coming together for this, and so much stuff was happening in it that it was great. It was great. Everything was real good. There's so much stuff I liked about it.
I also really loved it. I felt everything that happened in the episode just hit everything well. From like the drama to the action to even the humor, everything was on point. And I can't believe like we've had such a strong episode following up Melinda. But right. For me personally, I feel like we've already had 2 top episodes of the whole entire series within like the past couple weeks, and I think that's amazing.
Right. So let's hit some of the bullet points. Of course, like we said, we got the whole gang back together. Ward has been been reached out. Coulson and Fitz have been working with Ward in the attempts to find Skye, get some sort of lead on what Hydra may have been doing with these strange people. We're just going to call them Inhumans. Figuring out where the Inhumans are, where they're keeping Skye, and what's up with the entire situation with the new S.H.I.E.L.D. and the old S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're mixing together. By far, my favorite part of first of all, Skye just gets pulled in like such a deus ex machina, but it fits perfectly with what's happening to her. She is being teleported around. But that one scene where everyone is finally together in the same cockpit, brilliant. I love it. Ward is doing his like it's not a disclosure, but that thing where you're like
breathing
up the bar, yeah, breathing. And he just says, well, let's address the elephant in the room. I thought that was such a wonderful, wonderful gag.
Well, the best part is, again, and it comes back to, I guess we shouldn't be surprised by now, but it does feel surprising that they're not treating Ward like, they're going to bring him back in, Right. He makes some sort of reasonable points, but instead of going around and showing all the characters going, the crazy guy does make some points. Everybody just glares at him, and they're all like, nope, still glad I shot you.
Nope. Yeah, I love it. It was great. And very Whedon-esque, good, that kind of punchy delivery. I liked it a lot. Were you guys rooting for that, or did you expect it at all?
Actually, I originally thought it was going to be I was actually afraid they were gonna completely drop the scene and have everything fall flat, and because with Ward being like, well, like we had some good times, and I thought they were like everyone was like yeah, and like begrudgingly agree with him, but then like Sky drops like no, I'm glad I shot you still, and everybody agrees. It was like okay, like they're fully aware of what's going on and how like they pretty much just trashed because that was kind of like his whole entire speech, like him talking about the good times. Like it almost seemed like he was trying to be like season one Ward, and they were like, "No, you're not. That's not who you are. You're a scumbag."
Yeah, it was great. And this episode is full of little things like that. One thing that I noticed Matt was going crazy on the day the episode aired, was Sky, and that kind of, I don't know what the camera angle is, James. You know where it's like behind the shoulder, following
Over the shoulder shot.
Yeah, I guess it's an I guess so. When they're following Sky on her.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Like a it's like a video game.
It's like I was supposed to say, like I would call it the video game shot, where you've got the point of view of the character kicking ass and it's like arcing wherever they move. It was very intimidating. She does a great job. I mean, Cole Bennett did that. It was great. It was really well orchestrated. The choreography is wonderful. Matt?
It reminded me of something that we would have seen shot in Daredevil, and one of my always little nitpicks of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been, its production values at the beginning were awful, and now that they're good, but like it's not very creative, in an age where there are lots of shows that really do a lot with their, with what they got, and that scene was that was all about that. That's all about like, well, what's something interesting we can do here, and that's totally. It was this incredible third-person follow shot that was just beautiful. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, for that fight, I forget his name, but they actually brought in, I think, the choreographer from John Wick to do that fight scene. You can definitely see the influence of how Sky's like close combat gunplay was very similar to actually John Wick. And so I know a lot of people have been saying how they compared the Daredevil single shot scene to like Old Boy and The Raid. A lot of people were saying that this scene was very reminiscent of John Wick and also like the classic John Woo film Hard Boiled, with just like the single shot down a hallway with just this very acrobatic and very advanced kind of like gunfight. And like and like Frank said, lots of props to Chloe Bennett. No stunt double, which is what this scene has over the Daredevil scene, because in the Daredevil single shot they actually switched out the actor, but in this was all Bennett. And so
Nice.
that's really impressive of her. Like
Very cool.
I think her first really major acting role, she was able to pull off this kind of advanced action scene.
Interestingly enough, I think I called her Chol again instead of Chloe. I don't know why I do that. I don't think that's a name. Oh well, if you're named Chol and you are just a bit offended, please write it. Comment on this video. So there are a lot of little fun things that happen, and there are several severely dark things that have happened. Simmons is an interesting character, and what they're doing with her, they're not quite yo-yoing her. Like at first, in the beginning of the second half of the season, I'm like, oh crap, she is, she's seen the darkness and is going to be really, and she might actually be like, not a villain, but like a major problem for Sky. But as soon as she realizes Sky is one of those people she hates and fears and wants to bottle up, she still wants to do that. She still kind of wants to cage her, but it's still from a place of love. She doesn't actually, she switched in the last episode or two. She actually seemed like, of course I wouldn't have done anything horrible like that to Sky. Now to Grant, like she's just looking for someone to totally horribly murder, and that is awesome.
Well,
I think what's so terrifying about it is, like, and I'm going to use this wording very carefully, but she kind of murders an innocent. Look, not saying Bakshi's
You're defending a Nazi, Matt. You have the floor.
No, but in this scene, Bakshi theoretically is completely mind controlled by Ward. He's just a puppet. He has no real free will of his own, and he's just disintegrated right there.
That's interesting. I will also go that, first of all, he has committed many a crime beforehand. You're right. I know
in the long run,
but
not cool.
and the fact that she didn't actually target him, like he jumped in the way. She seemed less. She didn't seem that sad about it, but I think not being sad about it has to do with the fact he's a Nazi. I mean, a Hydra agent.
Maybe,
but
we.
Interesting.
I think we, as the viewer, have seen how 33 turned out. Someone like Bakshi, theoretically, after all of that brainwashing, could he potentially go on to being a productive member of society?
No.
I think that was kind of disproved when Mockingbird interrogated him, and like she pretty much found out like no, he followed Whitehall and all of them willingly. He wasn't brainwashed. He was a believer.
No, I'm talking about he was brainwashed by Ward.
Yeah, but like if you wipe away that, like Agent 33 proves you can wipe away brainwash, but that there's still that jackass underneath all of it.
Yeah.
It's still a human life. I will give you that, James. That is very true. But Matt, you were going to say something?
I was going to say, I mean, I thought that was really interesting to see like Simmons go for that attempt, and it's I wouldn't say it's yo-yoing either. I mean, it's very consistent. Like back in the beginning of season 2, she told Ward when he was being taken away, "If I ever see you again, I'm going to kill you." Like she's following up on a promise that she made earlier in the season. And what I also really liked was the follow-up when Ward gave like the very patronizing, condescending, "I'm very disappointed in you, Simmons" speech, where like obviously it's Ward, so like you can't take everything what he's saying like at face value, but he actually does have a point where like Simmons has changed. She has become darker, and she's very much not the character that we see from season 1, and while yeah, it's an improvement for like a viewer in like character development, but like as for the character personality herself, like what she has become, isn't exactly. Well, I mean, I think Simmons is starting to realize like she has strayed far from what she initially began as when she first signed up for this team.
But I think she's okay with it. I honestly do, because like you've seen the way they talked to her about what happened, about whether he made it. It's like, oh no, we lost him.
Yeah.
It was like such a calm thing. So I think this is a fun exercise. We've got 6 characters, right? From the beginning all the way to the most recent episode. Let's wrap this episode up of ours by recounting what journey they've gone through. So Simmons we just went through. She was almost a caricature. She was like a very, goofy kind of. She's sweet and interested in science and doing good, and now she almost fears advancement and fears power, and will do what's necessary to stop the people out there who will do what's necessary to get what they want. That's her. Who wants? You want to do anyone? James, you want to do one? Suggest one.
I mean,
Fitz is a good suggestion.
Yeah, Fitz.
Yeah,
Fitz.
that's what I was going to say. I mean, Fitz is also like Simmons was kind of like this caricature, and I feel like Fitz, not only has he become my favorite character on the show, but he's become, as someone who definitely like I feel like started off as like not a little cowardly, but the meek character. I feel like Fitz has become so strong.
Oh yeah.
Even standoutish as far as a moral compass and understanding for the group. I mean, it's not Coulson, because
Fitz sticks up for himself now.
Yeah.
And is willing to go out there. The character that was afraid to go out with Ward season 1 is now not afraid to take on Ward in season 2.
There you go. Perfect.
Let's go to Ward. Matt, you got it?
Ward started out as, generic, bland male character lead, where he talked about being the loner, the lone wolf. I'm a specialist. I work by myself.
Right.
And also this sort of awkward, like, oh, I kind of like this new girl, but I don't know how to express my feelings, and
Caricature again.
he's turned into basically, well, pretty much a psychopath,
Right.
where like he considers himself free of his constraints, but being free means being pretty much a sociopath and also kind of like realizing like he doesn't want Hydra, he doesn't want Shield. He wants his own plan or his own agenda, which I guess may include Sky still. Who knows what's going on in his head?
Right.
I kind of think he wants
But
a family.
I don't know if we even have
yeah,
any
I don't even know
evidence.
about
I
that.
feel like Ward started off being like blank hero ship, like he's like a hero slug, a blank slug of hero that people would criticize and be like, oh, he's just like this generic, the white lead guy in the movie, like the white heterosexual handsome guy, and then that they turn that into, well, yeah, that's what you would expect from a sociopath. You would expect a person who has no personality of their own, and we're just projecting this hero onto them. And that's a really clever way of dealing with that, because that's what you get from a lot of people who, deal with that. Well, I was going to start naming names and actors. We're not going to do that. There's some interesting theories about Keanu Reeves. Anyway.
All right, next character. How about we go with May?
Yeah. All right. She was the cavalry. She was the hero. She was the strong badass you didn't want to mess with. I actually probably disliked her the most in theory just because I don't like that character. The one who's just bad because everybody says that they're bad. Bad as in badass. So it's kind of like, she was cool. But meh. Melinda, the episode, flips the script entirely, where every time someone calls her the cavalry, they're just reminding her of how much she failed that one time. Miserably, and got credit for the success. That is horrific. I don't know why I pronounce it that way. Yeah, that's why I think that's Melinda for me.
Well, then I want to do Coulson.
All right, go for it.
So Coulson starts out when he gets his crew together to jump on the bus. I mean, think about how open and commanding and kind he is. He's like, this is our family. I'm going to share with you what we're doing, how we're doing.
Our spy family. Yeah.
What was that?
This is our spy family. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah, this is our spy family. Going to be all happy, spy kids here. And now look at him now. He's, like Fury, he's running around keeping secrets for the greater good. He's doing things that even someone as close to him like May is, like, why would you keep that secret from me?
And season one, a huge part of season one is Coulson, being betrayed by those secrets, and
Right.
season two, he's keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wheel goes round and round.
Right. That leaves us with Sky.
Okay, let me go with Sky. Sky starts out as the generic female lead of the show. She's a super hacker. She's pretty. She's supposed to be witty, and generally the character everybody kind of loathes. And like when they start, and pretty much the reason why people probably have dropped the show. But as the show, season went on, she learned how to become an agent. She became less of a hacker and more of a field agent to kind of replace Ward. And now she's kind of in her own right, her own legit badass, able to handle herself on the field, but also I don't know how the best way to put it, but like kind of like she's able to. I lost my train of thought.
She's the heart of the team.
Well, I guess yeah, and also I guess even more obviously, she's now the link to probably the greater expansion of the MCU as an Inhuman.
So Sky started off trying to help metahumans effectively, right? And sort of reveal the truth. And discover the truth of her own family. She got the truth of her own family, and now she is a metahuman. She started off with what the people felt was like undeserved superpowers, being the super hacker, being like this person who should have for no reason been like invited to join this secret organization she was invited to join day one. But then she ends up getting superpowers that she got for no reason, that she did not earn those powers. They were just a birthright. I think there's a lot of mirroring that's going on in her story as well, from what people are saying about these characters and what ends up happening to these characters. I think it's amazing. I really do think that for itself, the series is really, really solid. But yeah, its place in the MSU was kind of like solidified in this episode as well, because you'd have to hide under a rock without realizing that they are referencing, specifically Reyna is referencing the Age of Ultron, when metal men will fall from the sky and change the world forever. It's interesting. Matt, you haven't seen the movie yet, have you?
No.
And we can't do the show presuming that our audience has seen it. So we'll leave it up to you guys to decide whether or not that was an earned tie-in between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Age of Ultron. It's interesting.
To be fair, the 2-episode finale is also a tie-in. So
a post
starting tomorrow night is all tie-in. Not over yet.
So watch that movie, and then let's take out these last 2 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm very excited what's going on. I feel like there was one more slight thing I did want to bring up.
I have something.
Oh, well then cut me off and tell me what it is.
I'm curious what you guys think about the B story for this episode. Specifically, who do you think is more manipulating Sky's mother?
Oh.
Because Sky's mother obviously has worries about Reyna, right? Who we've known to flip sides from good to bad to self-important from time to time. Now that she has become the clairvoyant, how much influence does she have? And yet, we also know Cal isn't necessarily the most trustworthy of folks, and Cal was just recently betrayed, just a little bit, by his family. So Cal seems to suggest that Reyna is untrustworthy, but now I wonder, who of them is more untrustworthy? Are there false seeds of doubt being laid here?
I think they're all. My opinion is that they're a bunch of bad people. They're like, yeah, Reyna had. The thing is, unlike Ward, I'm not confused as to what Reyna's motivation might be. I'm sure there's a lot of rage in her now, but I don't. Oh, good. That was interesting. Apparently, we have a caller on our non-call-in show. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for me, I'm not bought into the Inhumans, if there even is a subplot. If that was anything more than just, hey, let's talk about Age of Ultron for a second. How about you, Matt?
I mean, I think there might be something going on with Reyna. I do think that she might try to make some kind of power play on trying to get more influence in Afterlife, but I don't think Cal is going to be turning on his family anytime soon, even though he was betrayed. He's shown that he is very committed to his wife and to his daughter, and I don't think he would try to have some kind of takeover as some kind of revenge. As honestly, as weird it might sound, revenge against his own family doesn't seem like to be in his character.
I feel like we could sample this clip later on in 2 episodes and go, Matt, you suck.
Well, you're so wrong about that one, Matt.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm looking forward to this finale.
My little character thing was between Ward and Agent 33 and what he's doing for her. And it still feels very sinister. I can't, but I mean, it could be legitimate. He could just be like, she deserves a second chance.
Ward does tell Bakshi, when Bakshi asks about 33, Ward says she's where she needs to be. Mm-hmm. So who knows what that kind of wording indicates.
I love it. That's good. Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap up this episode. Here's our poorly piped in theme music you can barely hear. And yeah, 2 more episodes till the end, right?
Yep.
Oh, can't wait. Watch Age of Ultron, or else you'll be in the dark. I'm not entirely sure that's true. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.